Someone merged this at 2 in the morning. The author field says, the agent. And nothing recorded the 3 that never got opened because you talked the team out of them. It is October. Your manager opens the dashboard that speaks for you, commits, pull requests, review comments. Your quarter was 3 prevented outages, 1 service that never got built, and a duplicate you caught before it spread. The dashboard has a column for none of that. So you are in the room explaining that you did a lot, honestly, it just does not show up anywhere. So here's the question this whole video is about. If the agent writes the code, what exactly are you being paid for? Not the inspiring answer, the one you could actually show someone. Start with the most careful attempt anyone has made to measure this. A research group called METR ran a controlled trial. 16 experienced developers, 246 real tasks. They published a result that got quoted everywhere. Then, in February 2026, they did something rarer. They said their newer data could not be trusted, and they explained exactly why. 30 to 50% of developers refused to submit tasks because it meant doing them without AI. The control group stopped being possible. And the clock stopped working too. People told them they would start something else while the agent ran. So time on task was measuring a person's attention, not the task. That is the whole problem in one sentence. The work moved somewhere the measurement could not follow. Now the fair objection. Measurement being hard is a researcher's problem. Your manager still needs a number in October. And that is correct. I am not going to pretend otherwise. Nobody has ever been promoted for explaining that productivity is unmeasurable. So the first practice is small and boring. Record the decision, not the diff. When you choose one approach over another, write 2 sentences somewhere permanent. What you chose, and what it would have cost to choose the other one. And the price, because every practice has one. It is about 10 minutes each time, and you will feel silly writing them, right up until the first time somebody asks why the system works this way. Now the source that does not ask anybody anything. A team called GitClear read the code itself. 623 million changed lines, 2023 through 2026. Duplicated blocks went up 81%, the highest they have ever recorded. And moved code, which is what refactoring looks like in a diff, fell from 21% to 3.8%. Cross-file function calls, down 35%. That one is reuse, measured directly. How often new code calls something that already exists. Legacy refactoring, down 74%. That means code nobody has touched in over a year. Nobody is going back into the old code anymore. Meanwhile, the DORA survey found 90% of developers using AI, about 2 hours a day. Throughput went up. Delivery stability went down, 2 years running. Faster and less stable at the same time. Hold on to that, because the gap between those 2 lines is exactly where prevention work lives. So duplication went up. Before I show you why, answer this one yourself. What went down? Here is what that looks like from inside a repository. This one already has a function that formats money. It has been there 2 years. It handles the currency symbol and the rounding. A task comes in. Show a price on the receipt page. The agent reads the files it was handed, does not find that function, and writes a new one. And now look at the review. The new function is correct. It formats money properly. There is nothing in this diff to object to. Approved. Now there are 2. Next task, different page. This time the agent does find a function, the newer one, and copies that pattern again. 3 call sites, 1 behavior, 3 copies. And here's that number again from the inside. The arrow. The one from the new code back to the function that already existed. It never got drawn. Not once. That is cross-file calls down 35%. Nothing here was a mistake. Every single diff was correct. Every review was reasonable. That is exactly what makes it invisible. That is the actual shift in the job, and it is worth saying plainly, the bugs did not get harder, the scope did. A local bug is one function being wrong. You can see it in the diff. That is the thing these tools are now genuinely good at catching, and they should be. A global failure is 30 correct diffs that add up to a system nobody can change anymore. There is no diff to look at. It only exists in the shape of the whole thing. And the survey found the same worry from the other side. 30% of developers say they have little or no trust in the code these tools write. They are reviewing it. They are just reviewing it one diff at a time. Now the strongest argument against everything I have just said, and it is a good one, so I'm going to give it properly. That is correlation. Adoption climbed across the same window a lot of other things climbed. GitClear says about a quarter of those commits were AI assisted, and it does not attribute the change commit by commit. And duplication is not always wrong. Two copies that are genuinely going to change in different directions are cheaper than the wrong abstraction. Every experienced engineer already knows that. So the honest version of my claim is narrower. Something is producing more copies and less reuse. Whatever it is, somebody has to be the one who notices. Second practice. Before you accept generated code, search for the behavior, not the name. The agent searched for a name. You search for the thing that adds a currency symbol. Different search, different result, and it takes 1 minute. The price on this one is real. It is slower. You are adding a minute to something that already felt finished several times a day, and some days that will be the only thing you did. There is a name for the work I keep describing. Negative work. The service that did not get built. The feature you argued out of the roadmap. And it is already the bigger half of the job. Stripe measured this before any of the current wave, 33% of the working week going to technical debt. That 33% is the baseline from before. The numbers we just looked at are the direction it has been moving since. Here is the objection I take most seriously of all of them. You cannot build a career on saying no. And that is true. The engineer who blocks everything and builds nothing is not an architect. They are an obstacle. Everybody has worked with one. But that is not the argument. The argument is that prevention with no written trace is indistinguishable from having prevented nothing at all. And that part is not your manager's failure. It is yours, and it is fixable. Third practice, and this is the one that actually changes a review. 1 paragraph for every prevented cost. Not, I advocated for simplicity. Write this instead. We were about to add a 4th service. Here is what it would have cost to run and to page somebody about at 3 in the morning. We did not. Here is what we did instead. Numbers you can defend, and no numbers you cannot. The price here is that you have to write it the week it happens, because by October you will not remember it. And this is the part that lasts. A generated function is worth something for about as long as it takes to generate the next one. A decision about how the system is shaped outlives every one of them. So, if the agent writes the code, what are you paid for? The duplicate that did not spread, the service that never got built, the failure that never reached anybody. That work did not go anywhere, it just got harder to see. The work is not missing, the record is, and you are the only person standing anywhere near where it could be written.